Is Disney World home to you? Realtor Victor Naraki can help make it a reality. Realtor Victor Naraki specializes in making your Disney home dreams come true. Second homes, investment home, retirement, relocation. With Victor's input, he will show you the home opportunities that you don't get to see as a tourist. Imagine being at the park in minutes, walking around the World Showcase for daily exercise, watching the fireworks in your own backyard, or having Disney Springs as your local mall. Have you ever heard of Windermere, Winter Garden, Horizon West, Dr. Phillips, Claremont, Lake Nona, or Disney's own Celebration and Golden Oak? Victor can introduce you to these communities, which are just minutes to the magic. Stop imagining a Disney life and start living your dream today. Call Victor at 407-340-9375. And don't forget to mention that you heard all about Victor here on Chip and Company Podcast Network. Head over to DisneyAtYourDoorstep.com and start living your magical life today.
Hello, fellow fans. I'm Marc. You know, with me is my co-host, the Sage Bryan. What up, Bryan?
I am Groot.
Welcome, everyone, to UWF on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. On the last episode, Bryan and I united with Marc and Greg from Diz Life, plus longtime listener, fan of the show, Patrick, for part one of Disney versus Universal Attractions Bracket Battle. On this week's episode, Bryan and I will be uniting with them again for part two and the finale of our bracket challenge. As United We Fan starts now.
All right, let's do this one last time.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Football is life.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
X never, ever marks the spot.
Is Star Wars the one with the little wizard boy?
This is the way.
Avengers! Assemble.
Ah, chills. Literal chills.
Hello, fellow fans. United We Fan, the podcast on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. Thank you all for uniting with us as we talk about all things fandom. Please give us a rate or review wherever you listen so we can unite with more fans out there. Let's see. In Marc and Bryan's world news, Bryan, not only are the writers on strike now, but actors are on strike now. And I don't think people quite realize the impact of this and how some of your favorite shows and movies are going to be extremely delayed now. So I would say give it a little bit more time, but get ready for some delayed releases.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have a choice at this point. Like you said, I don't think a lot of people know. And Sean Gunn, of all people, is really trying to make them aware. That dude is going scorched earth.
Yeah. So is Ron Perlman, Hellboy, man. But good on them. I wish the best of luck to the writers and the actors.
What would you do if I told you that my Hellboy was David Harbour?
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
That's no. Are you poking the bear? Or do you actually mean that?
I don't give a bleep about either, honestly.
Oh, okay.
But
all right.
I just want to poke the bear.
Man, I was ready to go scorched earth on you. All right. So let's see, Bryan, there were not all of the Horror Nights announcements we were hoping to get at this point, but there was some development.
A big development. Stranger Things 4, the long-awaited return, and by long, I mean 2 or 3 years. But the rumors have turned out to be true with The Last of Us and Stranger Things, so there's not really a lot of other rumors out there. Seems like a bunch of original concepts coming, but we're 6 weeks away from Horror Nights now, and we still only know 4 of the houses?
Yeah.
Chucky, Stranger Things, The Last of Us. I think that's all we know.
I know, we keep seeing The Fog. I don't know if that's going to end up being a street or a house, but I don't know.
Anyway, tickets are now on sale. I really, really want to go, but I don't live in Central Florida anymore, and it might not happen, but I really, 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 really want to go.
Yeah. Listeners, you may see a whole bunch of us from the Chip and Company and United We Fan friends going there and enjoying it. You'll definitely see Piano Rob, friend of the show, there.
Every
lot.
day.
Yeah, every night. October's gotten too crowded for me. I mean, listeners, let me know if I'm the only one, if like you've noticed it and it's just not as much fun in October. I still haven't decided on my plans for it. I'm not going to lie. These house announcements haven't blown me away.
Did you watch The Last of Us?
I did. I enjoyed it a lot.
I'm surprised that doesn't blow you away. I like season 4 of Stranger Things too, so both of those have me excited, and everybody else, which means the lines are going to be 90 minutes, 100 minutes.
I know. Maybe I'll just be that person who's enjoying the other houses, but that's just it. I love Stranger Things. I really enjoyed The Last of Us, but I guess more so I just want Universal to try to start doing more fresh ideas. And I love Chucky. I even love the show that's on Hulu and Sci-Fi. But yeah, I don't know why these announcements just they're not grabbing me.
You're getting too old.
Good morning. I'm Wilfred Brimley, and I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about diabetes.
Bryan just broke me, so I'm going to let him introduce one of our newest segments. Go ahead, Bryan.
Time for the Disney Corner. This week on the Disney Corner, there's some Disney news, but first I want to call out, if you are not watching Bluey, it is not just for kids. You should be watching Bluey on Disney+. They just dropped another 10 episodes. There's an episode called The Decider, which talks about how important sports are in familial relationships. I love it very much. Watch Bluey on Disney+. You will not be disappointed, children or not.
I used to put Bluey on in my break room at work just to cheer everybody up. Has a huge impact. And then a little bit ago, I was watching it with my nephew. Bryan, that theme got stuck in my head for like a week.
Mom!
Oh, God.
Dad!
I feel like that episode of Friends where Chandler's like, I just hear screaming, and Joey's just like, oh, yeah, that's just me in the other room just messing with you. So, Disney Plus, also Secret Invasion. We're getting close to the end. And I cannot think of too many highlights. I've just rewatched a couple of Marvel on Disney Plus shows, and you know, all the episodes, all the shows have at least that episode that you're like, wow. Oh, Bryan, I have a hot take. I'm ready. In the middle of a segment? Oh yeah. I need Marvel to figure out how to tell a TV show. Secret Invasion, especially, every episode they had some kind of what moment, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. And I'm like, you don't have to do that after every episode. And I'm like, when I heard the budget for Secret Invasion was $250 million, I don't know where it went. But I think Marvel is still struggling with how to tell a TV show. I think WandaVision was greatly told as a TV show. I know I'm going to get burned for this, but She-Hulk and Miss Marvel were great television show formats. The other series have felt more cinematic, and we're going to break them into parts. But anyways, Secret Invasion, you don't need to have some kind of cliffhanger after every episode. Like, have it in the episode and just finish the darn point.
That's how they get you to come back the next week, though.
You know what? And another hot take, Marvel, you need to stop teasing us with stuff and not seeing it through. I think that's why I'm okay with Bobby Iger.
I'm about to turn this into a drinking game of every time you tell Marvel to stop giving us stuff that they're not going to pay off, because that's about the 15th time you've said that.
No. Well, it's segueing into Bobby Iger saying
mistake.
They're going to scale down Star Wars and Marvel. I think it's better. Quality over quantity. They're introducing and teasing too many things, and if they could focus, then I'm okay with it. But I mean, he did say that Disney Plus kind of diluted things a little bit. I think it improved Star Wars, definitely. Marvel and Pixar, I think it did hurt a little bit.
Without the existence of WandaVision and Loki, the MCU is lesser. Therefore, I think Disney Plus added to the MCU. Did it dilute it? Sure. I like Secret Invasion. I really do like Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
I think they're telling an interesting story that I still don't think I've figured out yet. Maybe that one episode you're talking about just hasn't happened yet. We still got 2 to go, so we'll see. I do think one of the deaths that we have seen already is going to stick. I already knew one wouldn't, and I think the other one might. So we'll see what happens in these last 2 episodes when this comes out. There's only 1 episode left. We'll see. Scaling back, I don't think Star Wars is completely oversaturated like Marvel. I think Ahsoka is going to be incredible. I can't wait for it.
That preview was amazing.
That preview is incredible. And if you don't understand what's happening in that preview, do not worry. We've got you covered here at United We Fan. The Saturday before Ahsoka drops, we're going to do a Ahsoka preview and a Rebels recap and explain to you who the characters are if you don't have time or the patience to watch 77 episodes of an animated television show that is absolutely worth your time.
I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy Secret Invasion once the whole story is complete and I can like kind of see the whole picture.
It's a bingeable format for sure.
Yeah. So, Miss Marvel, ABC is going to be airing it. When did this fall? When is it? I don't remember.
I think it's August. I think it's all in the month of August.
Yep. Just in time for the Marvels. I love this. I love Miss Marvel. I know, God, it got a lot of hate, but I love Miss Marvel. It's a show that I watch and rewatch a lot. I think it's going to be perfect for network television on ABC. I think She-Hulk would actually be great on there. I think it would give it a second life. But do you think it's going to be a regular thing, them doing stuff like this?
Maybe. In my opinion, I think the biggest reason they're doing it is the writer's strike and the actor's strike, because now they have a whole treasure trove of things that have never been shown on national television that they can put out there as quote unquote new content for advertisers for something when you can't actually release new episodes of something else. That's what I think's going on here.
That's actually a pretty great take. I can get behind that.
Not just a hat rack, my friend.
Oh my gosh. And last but not least, listeners, it is the week of Barbieheimer. No. Barbenheimer. The Barbie Oppenheimer week. I almost said Oppenheimer, but I know if I did that, you were going to do a certain sound clip.
Who?
So
Oppenheimer.
There it is. Bryan, will you be seeing them both within a week?
I should see them within a week. I'm going to go see Haunted Mansion the earliest I can. So if Barbie and Oppenheimer have to wait, then okay.
Whoa. Yeah, I'll be seeing them one after another. AMC A-List helped me decide which one I see first. Originally, it was going to be Barbie, but then Oppenheimer just was a better scenario. But check out our Instagram, UnitedWeFan_podcast. We're going to be posting some polls on there to find out which one you liked more. Bryan, you got a prediction? Obviously, this episode's coming out after, right in the middle of the release, but who do you think's going to win the week?
Barbie wins revenue. Cheaper tickets because it's not in the digital formats. More people will go see it, and I think more people are apt to go see a PG-13 film versus a rated R film that's 3 hours long.
You think even with the premium pricing for Oppenheimer, Barbie's still going to take it?
Yeah, I think that actually deters more people from going.
So, Bryan, you're a Barbie girl living in a Barbie world?
Well, let's think about it systematically as well.
Ooh, okay.
Barbie is 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours.
Less than 2 hours.
You can almost fit in 2 showings of Barbie for every 1 showing of Oppenheimer.
Ew.
So that many more opportunities for people to see Barbie, and I think Barbie wins the revenue battle.
Yeah, I think Barbie's going to win the opening week, but I think Oppenheimer is going to have maybe longer legs. I think it's going to chug along with word of mouth.
I think Oppenheimer's guaranteed to be good. I'm not so sure about Barbie.
I think Barbie's going to be great. That clip of Ryan Gosling's song.
You're 10.
But it's Barbie.
and Ken. There is no just Ken.
Doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two. No one knows how hard I try.
I'm there for it.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I just don't get it. All right. So, anyways, while we're putting away our toys, grab some popcorn. Part 2 starts after these commercials.
Hey guys, Diz Life Marc here, and I want to tell you all about the official travel partner here at Chip & Company. Let our good friend Sarah at Destination to Travel help you plan your next Disney vacation. Sarah specializes in planning dream vacations for your family. She's an authorized Disney vacation planner, and she can help with every step of your magical vacation. The best thing is that her services are 100% free. Want to travel beyond Disney? Sarah has you covered there too. Want to find out more? Fill out a trip request form over at the website at Chip & Co. or email her directly at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com. Start planning that dream vacation today. Email her at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com.
Greg, I am going to give you the choice: screen time or low to no height requirement.
Oh, let's go low to no.
Low to no it is. The 1 seed Kilimanjaro Safari. This is where Universal really struggles from a lot of being a family-friendly park because there's not a lot to do for like a 3-year-old. So we ran out of attractions. So Kilimanjaro Safaris versus the People Mover is the first round matchup. Mark, Valentine.
I actually love both of these. I think they are two of the most subtle and beautiful rides that neither one of them are like really shocking you with, the ride mechanic or whatnot. And it's just the Safari though, because there's just that unknown about it and you never know what you're going to get and you get a different experience every single time.
Patrick.
I'm going to say People Mover.
Wow. Last time I rode the Safari, there was 2 giraffes getting it on and my kids had questions. Greg.
I feel like it should get a bonus vote.
Mark, didn't we ride it and there was an elephant having some
we saw a 5-legged elephant or 2 trunks. Or 2 trunks. This depends on how you look at it.
Either way, I stood up and clapped.
I salute you.
Greg, Safari, People Mover.
I think that whoever put these two on the this is horrible bracketing right here.
Greg, you want to hear why we did it?
Yes, I do. Please.
Actually, Brian, did I tell you why I wanted this one or no? Did I tell you?
You wanted People Mover gone because it wasn't a Universal, the Disney matchup.
I wanted it gone, but originally I had a problem with it. But then I wanted it because I was like, wait a minute, this makes sense. Safari, you're on a safari looking at live animals. People Mover, you're on a safari looking at live humans.
Which is
that makes sense. I'll go with that competition.
You know what? With that understanding, I'm going People Mover. That's amazing. Well done.
I mean,
do you want people watching or animal watching?
I mean, you could have compared People Mover to Seuss Trolley Train Ride.
Yeah, you're bringing up bad memories. Yeah. Seuss Trolley Train Ride having a 40-inch height requirement is the dumbest thing possible.
Brian axed all my Seuss landing suggestions.
Well, no, it was only that or the Carousel. Sorry, that's not on here either.
I know. We also got rid of the teacups. We had to. Spoiler alert. But I'm going to go Safari for real animals, not people animals.
I am also going Safari. It moves on. I think this is the hardest one in the entire region. The Hogwarts Express versus the Walt Disney World Railroad. Greg, I know you love the railroad. I'm going to go to you first.
All the way to the end, I will vote for Disney Railroad over anything in all the parks in all time. That railroad means so much to me. As personally, as a child, I came back here for that. You can ask Diz Life Marc. The first day I heard that horn and them testing it, I called him crying because that ride was going to come back. And it still took another year, and I was still excited about it. And the first time I rode it, I felt just like that 8-year-old child who only rode it one time with his parent. And that ride meant it's so emotional to me that the railroad will win it all.
That's a good story. I know you love the railroad. That's why I wanted to go to you first. I genuinely still don't know where I'm going. It was a long 4 years without it. I'm glad it's back. Mark Valentine.
The train is quintessential Disney, man. I mean, there's two things that Walt Disney, the man, loved. And, watching his daughter on the carousel gave him the idea for this theme park, but his love affair with trains and his miniature train was such a big part of like him creating Disneyland. And you get that, yeah, it's not Walt's train, but you get that feeling when you ride the train at Disneyland. It's just the history and the magic hits you. But the train is quintessential Disney World, man. Without it, it just didn't feel like the same park. And Greg and I geek out over the train, and I love the train just as much. Maybe not as much as Greg, but I'm right there with him.
It's mutual. It's mutual.
Yeah, I'm picking the train at Walt Disney World.
Patrick.
I'll
take some of the pressure. I'll take some of the pressure off you, Patrick. If I could only ride one for the rest of my life, I'm picking the Hogwarts Express. I just think I like the theming better. The memories on the Walt Disney World Railroad I'll have forever, but if I could only ride one from today here on out, I think the Hogwarts Express is the superior attraction.
I'm also voting for the Hogwarts Express. Yeah. So 3 expresses.
Yeah. It took me several times to get different storylines to get back and forth, and I kept going one side to the other and one side, and it just took me a long time to get the other side.
we have lost the friendship of Mark and Greg.
Oh my gosh, my head hurts. I'm just so sad. Listen, I feel like this was payback for Indiana Jones.
I thought Greg was frozen.
No.
Greg's just mad.
Greg's broken. You broke Greg. You might not function right for the rest of the episode now.
Anything off the trolley, dears?
That's why I felt bad, but I had to take the pressure off Patrick to at least give him the confidence.
Patrick, you were going to vote for the Magic Kingdom Railroad. I would have put money on it. I thought, wow.
E.T. Adventure versus Spaceship Earth. This is not even close for me. It's Spaceship Earth.
E.T. I'll be that guy.
That doesn't surprise me. Patrick?
Spaceship Earth.
Greg?
Disney Railroad. Yeah, Disney. No, Spaceship Earth, man. Yeah.
Mark?
I'm going to join Marky Mark, and I'm going to say, welcome home. And
you were right. Yes.
Mark, we rode ET together, and it's so bad.
You're bad.
I forgot my edibles. If I had my edibles.
Now, see, here's the problem. After partaking in stuff, never mind. You know what? Just move on. I don't need to.
Should we get Piano Rob on the phone for this conversation?
Move along.
Rob would join us, Mark.
Yeah.
He would join
Fast and Furious. He would. Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't need a mushroom talking to me.
Seven Dwarfs. Spaceship Earth moves on because Greg, Patrick, and I voted for it. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Pteranodon Flyers. Pteranodon Flyers, you have to be in a specific height range to even ride or have a kid that falls within that height range. Really kind of weird. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, in my opinion, not long enough. Still way more fun than Pteranodon Flyers, which I have done because I do have 2 kids that fall in the height range. Mark Valentine.
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I'm not a fan of the Flyers. Bella was within the height range, and I don't know. They're not remarkable to me.
Greg?
It's very strange to walk up to an individual and be like, "Can I borrow your child?" It's just not acceptable in this world anymore. So I could never ride it. So Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Patrick?
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train as well. I have ridden the Flyers though, with my niece, but yeah, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Marky Mark.
Seven Dwarfs.
This is one of the harder ones for me. Slinky Dog Dash, Jungle Cruise. They had to go up against each other because Universal just didn't have enough. Again, Jungle Cruise had to be here. The Sky Trolley, not so much. I rode Slinky Dog Dash 9 times. 9 times.
8 times? 9
times.
But Greg, like you said, you rode Tron 9 times in a row without getting off. That was what happened with me with Slinky Dog Dash during a cast preview a week or 2 before Toy Story Land opened. My kids love Slinky Dog. If it was the Jingle Cruise year round, I would be far more tempted to go Jungle Cruise. But Toy Story is way better than Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'm going Slinky Dog Dash. He was in the Jungle Cruise movie. Greg looked confused by my comparison.
Oh.
You did. I didn't. I was gonna pull out like some old Rock from WWE quotes, and then I was like, it just slipped in my mind. So, listen, Jungle Cruise classic, but I can actually get my wife to ride Slinky Dog Dash with me. So it's an emotional thing, just like a lot of these things are with me. So I'm going to Slinky Dog Dash.
Holly rides Cosmic Rewind though, doesn't she?
She every single time.
That's what I thought. I know she doesn't love thrill rides, but I know she likes Cosmic Rewind.
She's great on Slinky Dog.
Nice. Mark Valentine, Slinky Dog, Jungle Cruise.
I feel like you're in denial if you pick Jungle Cruise. I do love Slinky Dog Dash. It's fun. Jungle Cruise is very contingent on the cast member.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a cast member who's fully embracing the role and they're cheesy and you can tell that it's not their like 900th trip of the day and they still have that energy and they haven't completely broken down in the heat, then Jungle Cruise is great. But otherwise, Slinky Dog is a 10 out of 10 every time you ride it. So Slinky.
Patrick?
Slinky Dog Dash gets my vote. Although I have done a backstage tour of Jungle Cruise, and the lore and the theming and the Imagineering background story is fantastic. I will admit that. But Slinky Dog Dash gets my vote.
Disney trivia. I think most people know this. The back half of the cut airplane at Jungle Cruise, the front half was found where?
Great movie ride.
Casablanca. Great movie ride. I don't know where it's at now. Marky Mark.
I'm basing it off of if I get a great skipper, I'm going to go Jungle Cruise.
Fair enough. Slinky still moves on. Men in Black versus Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. Marky Mark, as our residential Men in Black fan, where are you going here?
I am going to go for the attraction that is great and is a lot of fun, and not for the attraction that is ready to be replaced. I'm going to go with Men in Black.
He's not snarling. He's sneezing. Little 8-year-old white girl, quantum physics books. I like Men in Black when nobody else knows what's going on, because I always get all the bonus points for hitting the red button first. But I still don't know what I'm voting for. Mark Valentine.
Well, I am a Space Ranger. I have done it numerous times. I've actually done it twice in the same car when I've ridden by myself. But Men in Black is it's more fun. It really is. It's a better ride.
Wow.
Man, that galactic hero, and it still didn't get the vote. Greg.
Wow.
This one's a bit tricky for me. They're both fun. They're both campy. But if I'm going to do it, it's going to be Men in Black.
Man, I thought I was going to go Men in Black, but I thought I was going to be alone. Patrick.
So my vote is for Space Ranger Spin, not that it matters, but only because Men in Black, not a lot of people, several people that I know that don't ride it because it spins too much.
It does do that. It does do that. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh versus The Cat in the Hat. The fact that The Cat in the Hat has a height requirement drives me insane. And I'm voting for Winnie the Pooh.
It used to spin a lot more. It used to spin a lot more.
I'm voting for Winnie the Pooh because the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat movie sucks.
I'm going Cat in the Hat.
Okay, Patrick.
Winnie the Pooh.
Mark.
I'm casting my vote for my hatred of the fact that it's no longer
Mr. Toad's
Wild Ride, and I haven't gotten over it. And now that I have to fly out to the West Coast to get my Mr. Toad's Wild Ride fix, I will never cast a vote for the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. So the Cat in the Hat, and it's a hate vote for you, Pooh.
The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh out at Disneyland is actually themed better. It was right across from Splash Mountain until Splash Mountain closed, but it was a good attraction. But yeah, they still have Mr. Toad's. Greg, you are the tiebreaker on this one.
Wow, as much as I love Heffalumps and Woozles, and I have a thing about Tigger, and we won't go into that story right now, but Cat in the Hat was the first ride that my autistic child, my son, loved. And he would just do this voice of Ed Wynn as the fish in there. It used to crack me up to no end. So for his sake, I'm going Cat in the Hat.
I did not envision that happening. All right.
Wow. Thank you all.
Harry Potter.
Was it you that punched Tigger in the Unmentionables or another kid?
No. It was another kid. I just happened to be there. Tigger was the one where I pushed my 15-year-old daughter out of the way to get in front of her. And yeah, we won't go into it.
So you love Tigger?
I love Tigger.
Is he your favorite Disney character of all time?
I love
Tigger is his spirit animal, by the way. They have a lot in common.
I can see that.
Between Tigger and Dory, those two, I like. There's my life right there.
You're a forgetful guy with ADHD, huh? Greg, for those not watching, Greg was looking around the room, perfectly timed. I loved that. Harry Potter, Buckbeak, Flight of the Hippogriff versus Goofy's Barnstormer. Two pretty comparable rides. I think Hippogriff is a little bit more thrilling, has a little bit of a higher height requirement because of it. I'm going Hippogriff. And I love Barnstormer.
Hippogriff.
I really do. That's 2 votes for Hippogriff.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Barnstormer gets my vote on that one.
Wow. Greg?
Mark, I already know his answer, so I'm going to go against him and go Barnstormer is an amazing ride, especially for kids.
And your vote is in vain because I'm going to gladly break the tie and say the Flight of the Hippogriff. Nobody likes the Barnstormer except for these two guys, apparently.
Kilimanjaro Safaris versus the Hogwarts Express. Greg, if it makes you feel any better, I will kill the Hogwarts Express right now. I'm going Kilimanjaro Safaris. Even though I do miss Simba 1 and hunting for, what was the baby elephant's name? Little Red.
Little Red.
Little Red is still safe backstage. Don't worry about
that safari ride was dark back then. Oh, it was so good.
They were sending a message, man, and it worked on me.
I could never vote for Hogwarts ever again in my life because it beat the railroad. So it's got to be safari.
Fair.
Wait, Brian, when you say it changed your life, were you a poacher?
No. I said it. I said they were sending a message and it affected me. I didn't say it changed me. It's 2 different things.
Okay, my bad.
It's 2 different things. That's 2 votes for Safari. Mark?
It was Dr. Shakalu in the pre-show speech that really changed my life. And if you don't know who that is from Grandma's Boy, see, I have so much pity for you that you don't know who Dr. Shakalu is because his beef strong.
Doctor, we're not in the rainforest, man.
My beef strong. Your beef wrong.
I love a lot of those stupid comedies. I hate Grandma's Boy.
Grandma's Boy is amazing.
Do we need to do a Happy Madison episode?
We might.
We need a United We fan just on Grandma's Boy.
No, we do not.
Okay. I don't know.
I'll do a watch along. That might be entertaining.
Yeah. I'm doing Safari.
Patrick?
Safari as well.
Spaceship
You never know what you're gonna get.
Fair enough. Spaceship Earth versus Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Spaceship Earth. Thank the Phoenicians.
Patrick?
Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Greg?
Spaceship Earth.
Mark?
Spaceship Earth.
Wow.
Oh.
Interesting. All right.
Brian.
Slinky Dog Dash, Men in Black. Slinky Dog Dash gets my vote.
I'll join
Men in
you.
Black.
Yep. I'll join you, Brian.
I'd
Slinky.
make it 3 for Slinky on that one.
Patrick?
Slinky as well.
All right.
Whatever.
Cat in the Hat versus Flight of the Hippogriff.
Hippogriff.
Patrick?
Hippogriff.
Greg?
Cat in the Hat.
I thought it might.
Oh.
Mark Valentine.
Hippogriff.
Kilimanjaro Safaris versus Spaceship Earth. This might actually be more difficult than I thought. I'm going Kilimanjaro Safaris, and it's not even close. And I like Spaceship Earth.
Safari.
Okay. Patrick?
Safari as well.
All right. It's not close. Mark?
Wow.
I'm going to keep the landslide going. Safari.
Greg?
I'm gonna break the landslide here because Spaceship Earth, it just hits. I love Spaceship Earth, especially when you're leaning back and you go through those just strings of blue lights, and it just all of a sudden opens up the universe to you. It's a beautiful ride there.
I always answer. Now I answer the computer with a bunch of answers I don't actually believe in because I just want to see all the different variations of the future. Is the retheme of Spaceship Earth or the redoing or whatever, is it completely canceled?
Indefinitely.
Paused.
It's just paused indefinitely.
Paused.
Okay. Slinky Dog Dash versus Flight of the Hippogriff. I guess it's supposed to be close to, in my mind, it's not even close. Slinky Dog Dash by a lot. Mark
Slinky
Valentine.
Dog Dash as well.
Patrick. Okay. Mark Valentine.
I mean, kudos to Flight of the Hippogriff for making it this far.
Yeah.
Your
It had some
Cinderella
easy
run-
matchups.
Yeah, your Cinderella run has come to an end. Slinky Dog Dash.
Greg?
Yeah, we can dunk all over the Buckbeak. It's Slinky.
That Buckbeak animatronic is good.
Yeah.
Mark, are you voting for Buckbeak?
I was going to, but Slinky Dog at night is just a fun experience.
Slinky Dog Dash versus the Kilimanjaro Safaris. Anybody
Safari.
ready? Mark
All right,
Mark says
let me
Safari.
go.
Mark Valentine.
All right, so let me go first. Everyone knows this. So the Jungle Cruise, this was what the Jungle Cruise was supposed to be. Walt wanted animals in the original ride. And when they finally created this in Animal Kingdom, it was very much like implementing a core belief or something that Walt really wanted and dreamed up having over at Disneyland. It just never came to fruition. The safari is just amazing. You talked about a minute ago being converted and it really hitting home, but like it's a really great message of conservationism. It's really great to show these kids these majestic animals. I love the mission of Animal Kingdom. And again, the safari is different every time. You never know when you're going to get a 5-legged elephant or you're going to have an awkward conversation about the birds and the bees with your kids because, they're getting it on. So the safari.
That's 2 votes for Safari because Marky Mark was also Safari, correct?
Yep.
Greg, are you going to make Holly happy with your vote for Slinky?
No, I'm going to go with Safari.
Really?
Where else are you going to learn that a flamboyance of flamingos is what a group of flamingos is called, or a bloat of hippos? I have learned more from riding the safari and had more fun on Safari than on Slinky Dog Dash. Slinky Dog Dash, it's the same ride every time. The safari, you never know what could happen.
One of the first few words in her vocabulary, my oldest daughter, was baobab, the baobab tree, because of the safari. I still would vote for Slinky, but I'm not mad about Safari advancing. Patrick, are you letting Safari? I mean, it's advancing whether you like it or not. So,
Yeah, my vote's Safari. Yeah.
all right. Well, I think now's a good time for a bit of a coffee break, a Diz Life coffee break, right? Let's everybody go get a drink, and we'll hear from our sponsors.
Do you love Chip and Company podcast? Be sure to head over to chipandco.com for even more Disney Parks news, entertainment, and review podcasts. Chip and Company has been delivering the best in Disney news, planning tips, and more since 2009. Now you can get your news in an audio-only format all week long. Every Monday, join Mark and Greg for Diz Life Podcast and start your week off the right way by living your best Disney life. Tuesday is our news and review podcast discussing the latest breaking news from the Walt Disney Corporation. Every Wednesday, we're discussing the best of Disney parks with Chip and Greg. Join Bondo, Miriam, Tinker J, and Mark Andrada every single Thursday for We Like Theme Parks. And every Friday, join Mark and Greg on And Company as we break down the top headlines of the week. Fellow fans unite with Mark Adams and Bryan Lee on United We Fan, the podcast, now at its new home here on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. Get that extra dose of Disney in your weekly commute, your time on the treadmill, or even just relaxing around the house. So stop what you're doing and smash that subscribe button to be a part of the best podcast network in the Disney community. We hope that you enjoyed today's podcast, and thank you for being a part of our podcast family.
All right, that brings us to our final region called Screen Time. We're going to start with the number 1 overall seed, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, up against Ratatouille. I'm voting Spider-Man. Mark Valentine.
Yep.
That's 2 for Spider-Man. Greg?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
And
Ooh.
Patrick.
I'm going to vote Ratatouille, actually.
I don't think Ratatouille is very good. I'm going to be honest.
Feeling hot.
I don't love it.
My only complaint is, obviously it was copied from Paris, but they still could have adjusted some of the dialogue and some of the warning labels and things like that.
I never know what they're saying. Yeah, I agree.
They also don't move, like Gusteau doesn't move frequently enough for how small that room is. Everybody wants to stay in that room waiting for Gusteau to move, and he doesn't move very frequently. And it's a very small part of the queue line.
I will never ride it again. Thank you.
Really?
Ooh.
That you don't? Okay. I felt bad saying I didn't like it. That makes me feel all right. Okay. Greg, if I remember correctly, you're not a massive Spider-Man fan either, correct? Not the ride, but the actual character.
Oh, no, Spider-Man? Not my favorite.
I don't get that. Did you see Across the Spider-Verse?
I did. No, I did not. But I did see Into the Spider-Verse. What was the first one?
Yeah, Into.
Into.
What was he?
And then Across, yeah.
Right. And then we're going Beyond?
Yeah. And then Over and Around with Grover.
The first one was phenomenal. I have not seen the other one. I had the choice between Elemental or that, and I went Elemental, and I do not regret my decision. Just not a Spider-Man fan, you know? I grew up reading darker comics, and Spider-Man just was too straight-laced for me as a kid.
Yeah, remember how we broke you with the train? I think you just broke Mark for the rest of the episode.
I'm reeling.
Toy Story Mania versus Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. Toy Story Mania in a landslide for me. Patrick?
Toy Story Mania as well. Absolutely.
Marky Mark.
Mania.
Mark Valentine.
Toy Story Mania has a lot of hand movement without a payoff at the end. You get really tired playing with that ball. But yeah, man. Toy Story Mania.
Nothing makes me laugh more than when people get off that ride going, I'm really good at that.
Jeez. Greg?
I just don't like touching somebody else's ball. So I'm going with Minions. I actually like sitting through Minions. It's fun.
I think Minions is horrible. I do not like that ride. It's not the worst one,
Patrick,
though. We'll get to it soon.
Patrick, please don't be afraid to come on the show again.
Avatar Flight of Passage versus the one ride in the world that I get sick every friggin' time I ride it. The Simpsons ride kills me. I'm voting Flight of Passage. Mark Valentine.
This is a hate vote because it took over for Back to the Future. So I have never and I love The Simpsons, but I've never forgiven it. So Flight of Passage.
Greg?
I was going to be a wise guy here and be like, oh, Simpsons, because of how horrible Disney treats Flight of Passage, and it's all out of whack, and the screens never look good anymore, and they really need to clean up that ride. But it's still Avatar. It's always going to get my vote.
Patrick?
Flight of Passage for sure.
They do need different glasses on Flight of Passage, I will say that. Marky Mark.
Avatar.
Transformers The Ride. AKA The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man with Transformers overlay versus Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the killer of the great movie ride, which is why I think people might vote against it. Mark Valentine.
I am Optimus Prime, and I still will not vote for my own ride. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway for me, man.
Patrick?
Even though it killed the great movie ride, but I'm still going to vote Mickey and Minnie.
Marky Mark.
Transformers.
Greg.
Even though I literally have a Transformers tattoo upon my body, they did not include Soundwave in that ride, so that ride does not exist to me. So Mickey and Minnie.
Is your tattoo of Soundwave, or is it like an Autobot, or?
It's both.
And where is it?
Oh, it's just there. It is.
For those not watching, Greg's showing us his right butt cheek right now.
I didn't know if it was going to be like a Kevin and Cheddar tattoo situation or not. So
Greg, follow-up question. Are you a Decepticon or an Autobot?
Yes.
Yes. It's a double agent.
He's a Voltron. That's what he is.
Look, you give me Rodimus Prime or Soundwave. I'm a jet screen. I don't care who it is.
What's your thought on Hot Rod taking over the mantle of leadership?
You know what? He could actually take the Allspark into his chest and disintegrate for all I care. They should have never killed off Optimus.
Wow. Stay close to United We Fan.
I know it's politically incorrect to not have a Megatron that's a gun, but Megatron will always be a gun to me.
There you go. Runaway Railway wins it. Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. Mark, this was where we talked about a lot of people compare Escape to Gringotts to Cosmic Rewind, but in my opinion, Escape from Gringotts is far more reliant on the screens than Cosmic Rewind is. So that's why it ended up in the screen time category. Escape from Gringotts versus Star Tours. From a theming standpoint, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts takes it for me. As much as I love Star Wars, it's my number one fandom. Escape from Gringotts is better than Star Tours. Greg?
Yep.
You know what? I'm going Star Tours on this. Gringotts starts and stops way too often, and it doesn't feel like a full ride. It feels like I'm just looking at screens the whole time.
Okay. Marky Mark?
Gringotts.
Patrick?
Escape from Gringotts, yeah.
Mark Valentine?
It's going to hurt my heart because I think I have better memories on Star Tours, but I've also never been the Rebel spy. So for that reason, Escape from Gringotts gets my vote.
Smuggler's Run, the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run versus the worst ride on this entire 60-14 bracket, the Jimmy Fallon Race Through New York. I hate that ride so much. Smuggler's Run takes it by a lot for me. Mark Valentine.
So if you ever want to see a grown man cry, put him on Smuggler's Run for the preview, for the DVC preview, and he's dressed as Han Solo, and he throws the Millennium Falcon into hyperspace for the first time. Again, a seminal moment for me and a chance that I was 4 years old again, living a dream come true. Smuggler's Run.
Patrick, you laughed really hard when I said how much I hated Jimmy Fallon. Do you have a passion for Jimmy Fallon?
I do not. No.
All right, cool.
So bad. It's so bad.
It's such a waste of space.
I also find it odd that it's a screen and the theater moves a little bit, but like it has a restricted body type in it. Like there's a certain body type that only fits in that seat. Like why?
Marky Mark.
I think because of writing it too many times with bad crews, I'm going to go Jimmy Fallon.
Greg?
Just to the opposite of that, I wrote it with a good crew, and Bryan, you happen to be one of those good crew.
I was
where we
in
got
that crew.
Master Pilot, and so was Marc Valentine. And I will go into greater detail on better stories when it goes to the next round.
Could I just say, it was so great when we were on the Halcyon.
Oh, you're going there. I was waiting.
And it showed up as Master Pirate. So for everyone to see, my highest score ever showed up. And so I walked around really tall.
You guys were so mad at me at the start of that one because we were trying to get Chewbacca mode, and I'm the one that screwed it up, but then we still ended up getting that high of a score.
And when we wrote it for the Star Cruiser, I sat there and yelled at two ladies to hit the buttons the whole time. I was like, I'm not losing Master Pilot on my Smuggler's Run right now during Galactic Star Cruiser.
We were so close. We missed it by 200 points.
No, it was 10 points. We got 9,990. I have a picture of it.
Gross. Yeah, Gross. Skull Island Reign of Kong versus Soren. I do not like Reign of Kong at all. Cool animatronic at the end. Everything else is a waste of space. I'm going Soren. Mark Valentine. Soren over California wins more than anything. But
nice work, pal. Soren's fun. I love Soren.
Patrick?
I gotta go with the flight attendant Patrick on that one. So yeah, Soren. Yeah.
Nice work, pal. Greg?
I am absolutely grossed out by other people's feet. And it bothers me to no end.
You just always have to be row A.
Yeah, I don't even want to do that because I know other people have their feet dangling and they took off their Crocs and then they're like, I'm going to leave my shoes on the floor because I can. Ew. And I like King Kong.
I think King Kong's awful. Marky Mark.
King Kong.
Soren still advances. Me, Patrick, and Mark. Rise of the Resistance versus Fast and the Furious Supercharged. And I knew Fast and the Furious was on this list when I called Jimmy Fallon the worst ride.
Wow.
Fast and the Furious is not good, though.
Is anyone going to vote for that, or are we all doing Rise?
It's all about family.
Oh, my God.
Find the video of Donkey talking about Fast and the Furious Supercharged. It's very funny.
Wait, we got to call Rob. He would defend Fast and Furious if he was here.
It's terrible.
Did we hear the news today of the Fast and the Furious roller coaster being announced at Universal Hollywood?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An outdoor coaster, right?
It's like Rock and Roller Coaster?
I don't know.
It'll be outdoor from the picture.
Spider-Man, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man versus Toy Story Mania. I'm going Spider-Man. Mark Valentine.
Spider-Man.
Greg.
Toy Story.
Marky Mark.
Spider-Man.
And Patrick.
Toy Story.
It was closer than I thought it was going to be. Spider-Man still advances. Flight of Passage versus Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Greg, you talked about how it needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but it's still Avatar. Does Flight of Passage get the vote over Runaway Railway?
This is harder than you think for me right now. I'm like, I love going to Congo with Daisy. I love new Mickey Mouse. I really do. It's so enjoyable to me. But at the end of the day, it's blue people. It's Avatar. Nothing can beat it.
Runaway Railway is a really good attraction. I really like it. Mark Valentine.
The first time I did Flight of Passage, it legitimately melted my brain. And I just did not know how Disney accomplished something so incredible. The only thing I wish they would do is, especially now with the new movies coming out, they should just change that video. And I mean, they do it with Star Tours. Why they couldn't sync different stuff, and we should have scenes from The Way of Water.
But you don't want to fly. You don't want to do that?
Well, then we wouldn't fly.
He's the worst. I hate that pre-show so much.
Yeah, that pre-show is a little it has not aged well. Flight of Passage.
I don't know if you guys knew this, but that was actually the second version because they felt his version was better than the original cut.
Woof.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought I recorded the third version. That's a bummer. I must have been the first. Marky Mark, Flight of Passage, Runaway Railway. 2 votes for Flight. I'm voting Runaway Railway.
Flight.
And Patrick.
Flight of Passage.
Gringotts versus Smuggler's Run. Greg, you wanted to wax poetic. Did you tell the story since Mark brought it up?
I did. Mark brought it up. Listen, Galactic Star Cruiser was one of the highlights of my life. I will have those memories into old age.
Mark and I were planning one, and we're not going to get to go now. It's such a bummer.
Hollywood Studios, Batuu takes on a whole new meaning when you go there while you're on the Galactic Star Cruiser. It changed every experience I've had on that planet, and Smuggler's Run was so amazing. And to do it with your friends like that, it means so much in this world. So, yeah, Smuggler's Run.
I let Gringotts beat Star Wars on the last one. That's because it was Star Tours. Getting a chance to pilot the Millennium Falcon means so much to me emotionally that I'm also voting for Smuggler's Run here. Marky Mark.
Gringotts.
Patrick.
Smuggler's Run.
Ooh, Mark Valentine, you don't even have to break the tie.
Listen, I cosplayed as Han Solo to go and ride this.
You are Han Solo. Look at you with those guns out. Pew pew.
Mark shot first.
Soren versus Rise of the Resistance. Is anybody want to cast a vote for Soren?
Ew.
All right. We have The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man versus Flight of Passage. Greg, I'm going to start with you because I think I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, Flight of Passage. Let's go.
Mark Valentine?
I do love Spider-Man, and I love the fact that you guys really introduced me to Spider-Man, and it was a great introduction to Universal. I think it's wonderful, but Flight of Passage is next level. And again, I left Flight of Passage just thinking, wow, this is where Disney is taking us in the future. And it still is pretty amazing, dude. I love it. Love the smell of Pandora.
Interesting. I'm casting a vote for The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. Marky Mark?
Spider-Man, and Patrick, you may end our friendship if you depending on what you vote for.
Patrick, you have the tiebreaker.
Wow.
You vote how you want to vote.
Pressure. Oh gosh. Okay. Flight of Passage is my vote.
Ooh.
Dead to me.
Makes me sad that Spider-Man is out. Smuggler's Run versus Rise of the Resistance. As much as I wax poetic on Smuggler's Run, it doesn't hold a candle to what Rise of the Resistance is. I legitimately cried the first 10 times I entered the Star Destroyer. It's like stepping into a film. Rise of the Resistance is hands down the best attraction at Disney World for me. Mark Valentine.
Well, both of these are great because they put you in the narrative and they put you in the movie. One piloting the Millennium Falcon, but the other one, you take on the role of an actual rebel spy. You get captured, you get detained, and then you have to break out. And you feel like you have become a part of the Star Wars universe. I love the way that they have the various phases of that ride, and you're walking through some stuff and then you're riding for other stuff. When it all works and it's, not breaking down and they don't have a B mode for something, there's nothing better than Rise of the Resistance. Nothing. It has a lot of problems, but when you get a ride that's that sophisticated, that's kind of the risk that you run. But Rise of the Resistance is just unbelievable, man. And it's going to get my vote.
Greg, you look like you're voting for Smuggler's Run, and I want to hear why.
Because look, as great as Rise of the Resistance is and all this new technology and this wonderful thing, and I'm sorry to sound like the down guy on this one and the negative person because I love Rise. Don't get me wrong. But Rise of the Resistance is constantly in B mode. The half the ride doesn't operate how it should. The cannons don't ever move anymore. They've removed that from ever happening.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's done, right?
That ride is not the ride that we were promised. It's not the ride that we were given to begin with. It is not the ride that lives up to it. 45 minutes to an hour to reset that ride every single time, and it goes down constantly, multiple times a day. That ride actually is a lemon. And so that's why I'm going with Smuggler's Run.
For me, it's not even about the attraction itself. It's about everything else. Like, I think that hangar bay with all the Stormtrooper animatronics and the pre-show is still enough to carry it for me, whether the attraction's operating correctly or not. Patrick.
So it took me so long to get on Rise of the Resistance, and that is my vote, by the way. But they were still doing the whole virtual queue thing the very first time I wrote it, and it was in July of 2021, like well over a year because of COVID and the blockout dates. Like I couldn't get onto it, and I remember it was 1 o'clock. It was the 1 o'clock drop, and I was in Toy Story Land of all places. I was refreshing the app like crazy. I was with my sister, and there was a big collective group cheer in Toy Story Land when a bunch of us got it at the same time.
The first transport is away. The first transport is away.
Myself included. So yeah, Rise of the Resistance.
Mark.
Rise for the win.
Rise versus Flight of Passage. Mark Valentine.
I'm a Star Wars guy. I know that my podcast partner loves blue people, and he says Sivako. But for me, it's always going to be as simple as a kid with a TV tray sitting on his living room carpet, making the trench run and watching Empire Strikes Back, and then returning with the Jedi and taking down the second Death Star. I bleed Star Wars, man. I am a Star Wars kid. I'm a Star Wars adult. It is my identity. It's everything to me. So being able to live that movie, Disney, thank you for making that dream come true. And Flight of Passage is an amazing ride. But when it comes to one intellectual property versus the other, it will always be Star Wars, Bryan. You know this.
I do. That's also my vote. Greg.
As much as I say how much I love Avatar, I actually hate this ride. I think it's horrible. I am not a Flight of Passage fan in any way, shape, or form. It's just not good. It doesn't strike something with me. I don't understand the hype around it. I'm glad people like it. But no, Star Wars to me, as much as I just poo-pooed all over it, it's still one of the greatest rides to ever be created, whether it's in B mode or not in B mode. Rise of Resistance, it takes me back to being 7 years old and playing on my lawn with my little speeders and playing the hero in this saga. So it's got to be Rise of the Resistance.
Mark.
I'm gonna go Rise.
And Patrick, clean sweep.
No, I'm gonna vote Flight of Passage on that one.
All right, Mark. I know you were afraid that Disney might dominate this. 3 of the final 4, 1 from Hollywood Studios, 1 from Epcot, 1 from Animal Kingdom, interestingly enough. And then the Bourne Stuntacular is what's left. But before we talked about the final 4, Mark, you had another mini bracket you wanted to take us through.
I did. I thought it'd be a little fun to take a brief detour here. Both parks do holiday events, major holiday events. You have Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. You have... what is it? Mickey's, what's the Christmas one?
Very
what's the
Merry
full name?
Christmas Party.
Very Merry Christmas. Very. And then you got Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm going to go with Grinchmas / Macy's. So what we're going to do is just a sweet little final four of Bryan, do you mind if I host this segment?
Absolutely.
My grand master champion.
Wait, I absolutely
All right,
don't
friends.
mind. Go ahead. That's what I meant.
Okay. All right. First up, we're going to do Battle of the Holiday Cheer.
I came to invite you to be Holiday Cheermeister.
Holiday who be whaty?
Are you going to go to Mickey's Christmas party, or are you going to go to Grinchmas Macy's?
I think the Grinchmas show is really well done. The guy tries to channel Jim Carrey as best he can. Actually, does a pretty good job. However, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is. If I can't vote for Jollywood Nights, because I think that's actually going to be the best Christmas event that happens this year. But I'm going Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party.
All right, Greg.
I'm going to second Bryan on that because I think Jollywood Nights is actually going to turn into the holiday party here at Walt Disney World. But no, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is old school. It's beautiful. It's what that Christmas vibe is all about. I don't need to be yelled at by some Grinch on Christmas. I want happy thoughts. I want to feel special during that season. I want happiness. I want joy, and the Grinch doesn't bring that.
Patrick, what about you?
Very Merry Christmas Party as well. I think the parade is more iconic there. Although Macy's holiday parade with the balloons and everything is fun and festive, don't get me wrong. But yeah, Very Merry for sure.
Now, Mark, last but certainly not least, are you going to make me the only one who's going to vote for Macy's and Grinchmas?
Well, I think that the Grinch is probably a better character, probably the best character meet and greet that you're going to get from either one of those parties, just because of how spontaneous it is. And I love the improvisation and the way that he really interacts with guests. But Patrick kind of said it, the parade at Disney is iconic. When the wooden soldiers march, there's just something that's magical about it. It's like the gravediggers for the Halloween party. Those wooden soldiers are just really cool looking. Greg and I did the Christmas party this year. My daughter loves it. I love the cocoa and hot drinks and the cookies. And Disney's going to get my vote, man. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, Mark. I want to join you, but
I'll join you in the next round.
It's fine. I can just go to Grinchmas and be like the Grinch and be alone on Christmas. All right. So during spooky times, wow, we're getting close to that. With Disney starting it in August, Universal starts it early September. We have Halloween Horror Nights and Mickey's Not So Scary. Mark, which one are you going to? You can only pick one.
So hot take. The Halloween party over at Disney does not hold a candle to what they are doing at Universal. I mean, if you've got little kids and they want to go trick or treating, yeah, you know what? I'm your Huckleberry. But listen, Halloween should be scary. You should get scared, and you should be scared when you walk through the scare zones. And those houses are absolutely amazing. The food is great. I want to get scared on Halloween. And I don't care that the Sanderson sisters are joining the parade. I don't even like Hocus Pocus. I think it's a horrible movie. And I don't understand people who like the Sanderson
Preach, sisters. Baby, preach.
So my vote is for Halloween Horror Nights.
Patrick?
I just died a little bit.
I know Patrick likes Hocus Pocus.
I mean, I got a hot take about Hocus Pocus. It was just nominated for an Emmy, the second one, and I think the second one is just a mess. But go ahead, Patrick. Which one are you going to?
Very, very tough choices.
Live your truth.
The Halloween Horror Nights does have some amazing sets, and the costumes and the makeup is just fantastic. But in the end, Halloween is about trick-or-treating and candy, so not so scary.
Ooh, Greg, what you feeling?
Wow, this one's tough because one of the greatest media nights of my life was being invited to go to Halloween Horror Nights and not having to wait in line like the regular people did, and being able to go backstage and see how the sausage was made. But again, I also did a media night at Mickey's Not So Scary with Marc, of all people. He joined me on that night and saw how much running around and craziness there are. And we got treated to front row seats and had the best view of the parade. I do think Boo to You is the best parade here at Walt Disney World Resort. Doesn't matter what time of year, Boo to You is amazing. But that graveyard scene last year at Halloween Horror Nights blew my mind. And for that alone, it wins.
You said how the sausage was made. I feel like how the sausage was made might actually be a Universal Halloween Horror Nights house at one point.
They've done, they've done meat market. You gonna even it up, Bryan?
No, absolutely not. Horror Nights is incredible. I don't even live in Florida anymore, but I'm coming back for Horror Nights, man.
Woo! All right. Well, we got the finals. We got Halloween Horror Nights versus Mickey's Christmas Party. Patrick, which one are you going to?
Of those two, Horror Nights.
Yep. Greg, Christmas cheer or holiday fear?
I'm a big softie. I want to sing Christmas carols and drink hot cocoa and think of cold places. Unfortunately, it's hot in Florida, but I like to have that feeling. And that Christmas season just speaks to me on many levels. And Halloween, I just think it's overrated. Bye-bye.
Oof. Bryan, what you got?
Craig is correct. Halloween is overrated. Halloween is not a very fun holiday. Christmas is way better. That being said, Horror Nights is the funnest event that exists at a theme park.
Marc?
So do I have to go to a generic party where it's the same merch, it's just a different color and a different season? Or can I do something that changes from year to year with new houses and new scare zones? I'm going to go to the place that's changing it up and coming up with creative solutions every year to a brand new event. And it's something that's actually worth the price of admission versus the same event year after year after year. Halloween Horror Nights is the best after hours party, full stop.
Marky Mark, if I may, this episode's already pretty long. So if I may.
The game where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore of Halloween Horror Nights houses you have been a part of, or you have had the chance to experience.
Dead Silence. If you haven't seen that movie, please go watch it. It's about a dead ventriloquist. Spooky, scary. The Thing, I forgot the full name of it, but it was a sequel to the John Carpenter movie. I loved that one. I think, you know what? I really liked the Monsters house that we got, what was it, 2 years ago? That one was good. And then, Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors. I think it was, you go to like a dream institute. So I think those are my four.
Anybody else ready to go?
Yeah, I can give you mine.
Go ahead.
Last year, The Weeknd did a phenomenal job.
You liked that one?
I jumped so hard on one spot. It was like I normally don't like jump scares. Bugs, I thought Bugs was just it got right into my skin on that one. Graveyard they did last year, I thought was really good. And then the original Halloween one they did a few years ago. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
But that Halloween one was phenomenal.
Oh, hang on. I gotta backtrack. I gotta get rid of the Monsters one, and I gotta put the Ghostbusters house in there.
Yep, I figured you would when I reminded you about it. I'm with Greg. Mine are all pretty recent because I've only been to 3 events. Ghostbusters absolutely is on there. It wasn't even scary. It was just great to step into the movie. Let's see. There was the one where you went into like the stomach of the Pumpkin King or whatever. I thought that one was actually, yeah. I thought that one was a lot of fun.
I fell out of that house, by the way.
I remember that story. Let's see. Beetlejuice is my number 3. The Beetlejuice house was incredible. And I think my 4th one, I'm going to go with Stranger Things 2. Stranger Things 1 was really good. I think Stranger Things 2 was actually a little bit better. So I'm going to go with that. Patrick?
I'm forgetting the years, but Alien versus Predator, they did that house.
Nice.
There was a Freddy versus Jason house. That was my number 2. And I forget the official name of it, but there was one theme Dr. Edgar Allan Poe. I want to say it was called Nevermore, something like that.
Yep.
But yes, that one, and then a couple years ago, I think it was called Seeds Alive, about plants that came alive. That was really fun.
Mark, I remember I showed up like an hour later than you guys, and you just couldn't stop laughing about falling out of that pumpkin house, man.
They hit me hard with the jump scare at the end. I thought we saw the door, and I'm like, oh, we're out. And something just straight up hit me right in the face, and I fell backwards out of the
That was your very first like Halloween Horror Nights house. Like that was your first event, first house of the night.
No. That was like the third house of the night.
Oh, really?
Okay. It was like I had been conditioned, and I was like, oh, like I've got this. Like I'm so good. And it was the third house, and I fell out the house. So that has to make my top, just because that was such a wonderful memory. Beetlejuice. There was a Leatherface, like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There was one room that opened up, and it was just bloody bed sheets and like strobe lights. And it scared the hell out of me that there was no hallway and no corridor. So you didn't know where the scare was coming from. Just the open concept, that open floor, scared the living crap out of me. I was like, oh, get me out of this room now. Probably like Ghostbusters would be on that list too. Just to be a movie.
Actually, I need to get rid of Freddy. I'm putting The Exorcist in there. I remember walking in the soundstage.
Ooh, no thank
you. Had the light coming from the window. Exorcist.
No thank
you.
you.
Speaking of that, I'll get rid of Graveyard. Remember last year, the Dead Seas one, where you walked on the boat and it hit you with that blast of the sea salt? That was ingenious. So well.
That was good. Poltergeist was great.
Poltergeist was good. Poltergeist was really good.
Well, you can catch all of us at the champion winner of the holiday events, Halloween Horror Nights this year. So look for us, say hi, and maybe pick up Mark if you need to. So,
well, I have the race. I have the 5K. So I will be there for a few days in November. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I can swing down earlier. I don't know.
There you go.
Well, let's finish up the ride bracket. We have the winner of the Yzma Put Your Hands in the Air region, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, against the winner of the low to no height requirement region, Kilimanjaro Safari, Mark Valentine, Cosmic Rewind, Kilimanjaro Safari.
Yeah, this is no contest for me. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love Marvel. And that ride, it blew my mind. And that is the next generation of, I think, what rides are going to be about. Disney's doing something pretty special and pretty magical at Epcot. Cosmic Rewind for me.
Patrick.
Cosmic Rewind as well. As much as I do love safaris, how it's different every time, and you never know what animals you're going to see, Cosmic Rewind is my vote.
Cosmic Rewind is also kind of different every time. Marky Mark.
Epcot Terrans for the win.
Greg.
Now, we have all waxed poetic about Cosmic Rewind many times. I think we did a whole podcast and talking about nothing but Guardians of the Galaxy. It's such a phenomenal ride. Now, if they would only get rid of the queue and just let you go on the ride, I don't know. I'll still go with Cosmic Rewind.
I think the virtual queue's got to be coming to an end soon, right? At this point, maybe after this Christmas. We honestly thought it might have been after last Christmas.
There's stanchions up right now and umbrellas all outside. It looks like they're getting ready for
it. I think it's happening soon as well. Yeah.
Cosmic Rewind with a clean sweep. On the other side, we have the winner of the mini regional. Sit back and relax. The Bourne Stuntacular versus Rise of the Resistance. Mark, we both love Bourne Stuntacular. We're the biggest reason why it's where it is. It does not trump Rise of the Resistance for me.
Who would have thought Bourne Identity or the Bourne Stunt Show would be in the final four? Cinderella story there.
Hey man, you made sure we had attractions because you wanted Indiana Jones on there. It just didn't make it, and I apologize.
That's okay. What did you say? It's Rise versus Bourne?
Yes.
Rise.
Mark Valentine.
Yeah, Rise of the Resistance is going to get my vote here too.
Greg?
Yeah, Rise.
Patrick?
Rise as well.
To the shock of nobody, our championship round, Rise of the Resistance versus Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Does anybody want to start?
You.
Me? No, because
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm voting. Patrick.
Pressure. Okay, so I'm going to vote Cosmic Rewind.
Greg?
Yeah, unfortunately, Rise of the Resistance, and believe me, I am a much bigger Star Wars fan than I am a Marvel fan. I do enjoy the Guardians of the Galaxy. Star Wars is my childhood. It is my life. I've built so much of my personality around Star Wars, but that attraction suffers from so many downtimes and so many things that are wrong with it. I think the ideas behind that ride were ingenious, and I think where they're going to go in the future is going to be based off that. But what they did was they went into the future and they made Cosmic Rewind. Cosmic Rewind is the best ride at Walt Disney World.
Or Universal Studios, for sake of this argument.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah.
Greg,
I'm going Guardians.
I'm very sorry, Greg, but I gotta ask. Walt Disney World Railroad, Cosmic Rewind.
Ooh.
Disney Railroad, 100%.
That's what I thought.
Not even hard to think about on that one.
If this was only up to you, Railroad wins the whole thing.
Railroad wins the whole thing, and it's all about emotional attachment. Yeah, I had a great time doing Cosmic Rewind Media. I've had a great time doing Rise of the Resistance many times with a lot of friends. It's always been a lot of fun, but there's an attachment. There's a reason I live here. There's a reason I came to Disney World to escape reality, and it goes back to being like, okay. So I'm going to still. I know we're wasting time here, though. I have very few great memories of my father. And that the one major memory I have is sitting there on the railroad, and he was doing that dad thing of pointing out things as you would go around the railroad. And he told me the story of Walt Disney, and he was a Disney fan. So it was that one true bonding experience I ever had with my father. And now I get that with my own kids. I get not only that, but while I'm there working, I will go onto that train every single day, and I will do my work going around wherever I'm from, working on, and I will sit on that train every single time. There's something about it's a romantic thing. It's an expression of what Walt Disney World is all about. It's an expression of if we didn't have that railroad, and I'm not talking that specific railroad, but if we didn't have a railroad from Disney, we have no parks. We don't have Disneyland. We don't have any of this other stuff. So the history doesn't get lost on me. The emotional attachment doesn't get lost on me. That would have won everything.
I'd love to ask everybody else if they could pick one out of this entire thing, what has that emotional attachment that would have won? So start thinking about that. Mark Valentine, it's a moot point. Cosmic already has 3 votes, but I'd love to hear how you would have made this decision.
As much as it pains me to say this, I can't believe I'm voting against Star Wars, but I'm going to. I mean, the stuff that they're doing in Cosmic Rewind, it's a different ride every single time. I wish there were some elements that changed on Rise of the Resistance. I mean, if it was the first time and you compared it, Cosmic Rewind's still going to win. My mind was blown when I got off of Cosmic Rewind. My challenge to Disney would be this. Make sure the Cosmic Rewind stays in that shape. Please don't let the video elements of it deteriorate. Make sure that the ride stays that crisp and clean and new looking. Because if Cosmic Rewind starts to break down and some of the elements just start to show wear and tear, it's just going to become a roller coaster. All of those enhancements and the digital stuff is what makes it really magical and special. But it's the perfect marriage of technology and thrill to make it the perfect ride for me, man. Cosmic Rewind.
Cosmic Rewind with the clean sweep, because Star Wars, my number 1, Marvel, my number 2. I like Marvel more than Greg was talking about. We like both of them, but I care about Marvel more than Greg does. But for me, when I'm picking an attraction, I want some thrill to it. Cosmic has that.
Yep.
And Rise of the Resistance doesn't have a thrill factor out that's near as high. So I am also voting Cosmic Rewind for the clean sweep. I love Cosmic Rewind so much.
Did anyone's favorite make it to the final 4, or the champion is Guardians anyone's favorite? Did anyone's favorite ride make it?
Yes, of all 64, Cosmic Rewind would have been my vote getter the entire time. Mark,
my 1 and 2 didn't even make the final 4.
Indiana Jones and
Spider-Man.
Okay. Spider-Man would have lost to Rise of the Resistance for me anyway. So I was okay with that. Velocicoaster would have, like, my top 4 is probably Velocicoaster, Cosmic Rewind, Spider-Man, and Rise of the Resistance. So 2 at Universal, 2 over there. Mark Valentine, let me ask you, Cosmic Rewind, Hyperspace Mountain.
Cosmic Rewind. Hyperspace Mountain's just the superior version of Space Mountain, but their Space Mountain's so much better than ours, even regularly.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. It's just a smooth ride. It's amazing.
Marky Mark, you would have had Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular win this entire bracket if it was up to
you. I wouldn't.
I'm not trying to answer for you. I just expect
No,
answer.
you're good. I knew, I was hoping it was going to be the show winner. I was a little disappointed it wasn't, but I was happy that Bourne was the show winner. I definitely thought Spider-Man was going to make the final four. That was the shocker to me.
Patrick, what would have won the whole bracket for you if you could have started from scratch with you as the only voter?
Well, an attraction that wasn't even on there. It's tough to be a bug.
Oh, I hate that one.
It got cut right away, Patrick. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. And surprisingly, Peter Pan's Flight wasn't on there either. That would have been my top two. But Frozen Ever After, I think, would have been.
We do Disney very differently, you and I, Patrick. That's cool, though. Tough to be a bug, though. I don't get that one. Peter Pan's Flight was an oversight.
I think the real question is, when you guys go to Epcot, do you go to Mexico or Canada? I go to Canada.
Mexico.
Canada.
Greg, tiebreaker.
I go to Morocco. I take the friendship boat and go straight over to Morocco. I skip both of them.
You always park it. You always park it. You take the friendship boat. You don't do the Skyliner, huh?
Yeah, I do friendship boat.
All right. Well, Cosmic Rewind, the rightful winner of our 64 team bracket. Thank you so much, everybody. Mark, Greg from Diz Life Podcast. Check them out on Mondays at Diz Life Podcast and on Fridays and Company here on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. Patrick, this is your first time on the show, probably not your last. Tell Frankie hi for us. And thank you also so much for joining us. Mark and Greg, anything you guys need to plug?
Oh man, thank you for letting us fan out with you. We love this. This is our favorite thing to do. So thank you for having us and hosting us tonight.
Patrick,
yeah, I'm always on my best behavior when Mark is around. So thank God I was on here with Diz Life Mark. He's the guy who keeps me in check. He is awesome. No, thank you guys so much. It's really nice. And again, I will say thank you guys so much. United We Fan over on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. Thank you guys for joining the family.
Thank you for having us. And Patrick, anything you need to plug?
I just want to thank you so much for having me here. Long-time listener, first time, guest host, if you will. I was going to say first time caller, but no, that's not right. I definitely hope to be back if you'll have me. I don't have my own podcast or my own network, but if anybody wants to follow me on Instagram, go for it. Yeah. Tag me in the post. That's easiest. So.
All right. Well, that concludes part 2. Thank you, Mark and Greg from Diz Life on the Chip and Company Podcast Network, as well as longtime listener and friend of the show, Patrick. We appreciate all of you for helping us to decide the better the attractions. Did that happen? Well, who knows? We'll let you decide.
Yeah, Cosmic Rewind is the best. It won. It's the rightful winner.
Okay. Comment. Let us know if we missed yours. If you're upset that we didn't include Haunted Mansion, the Teacups, Barnstormer.
If you're upset that we didn't catch the Haunted Mansion, catch us in a week. We'll be reviewing Haunted Mansion, the movie, and guaranteed there'll be plenty of attraction talk next week.
Plenty. And if you're upset that the Carousel or the Sky Trolley weren't included, please direct all messages to Bryan.
Please do. I'll take that.
Yes. But we thank you, fellow fans, for uniting with us. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, UnitedWeFan_podcast. You can find us all over social media. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you thought of this episode and past episodes. Till we unite again, fans, just remember what Ron Weasley said. Remember, Hermione, they're muggles, not morons.
That's Jason Bourne.